Good morning, good afternoon, and good evening. Welcome to Spooky News. I'm Sam,
I'm Ren.
and that's that. So this is episode 2 for November 2024.
Mm-hmm.
How did you feel about last month's episode?
I enjoyed it.
You enjoyed
It
it?
was fun.
You thought it was good?
Yeah.
There were some sound issues. There was a buzzing going on. I think we fixed that this time. Hopefully this should sound much better.
Yeah.
So there's been quite a lot going on this month, specifically, and I think this will be a trend going forward for at least a while with UFOs. UFOs are big news.
Big news. Oh, yeah, because they had that whole conference thing.
There was the conference we'll get into, yeah, as well as some other stories, some very recent stuff as well. But before that, we've got ghosts to go through. So, should we just get into it?
Let's get into it. I'm
All
ready.
right. This is what we call the big three.
Yep.
Ghosts, UFOs, and cryptozoology. And we're starting with ghosts. Okay, let's just jump right into it.
Jump right in.
Right, story 1.
Mm-hmm.
The source for this story is Azteca Puebla. Azteca Puebla.
Puebla.
Okay.
Okay.
Headline: Friends capture terrifying creature watching them from the garden in the middle of the night.
Capture as in, like, footage.
Yeah.
They didn't
catch it in a
get
net
it.
or something. No.
He's in a cage in the basement.
All right, so here's what happened to this story. A video went viral on TikTok after a group of friends caught something watching them from their garden in the middle of the night. What is it? Users on social networks have captured alleged paranormal sightings that have gone viral on social networks. This is translated from Spanish, I think, so it might sound a bit weird.
Espanol.
Such is the case that we are going to share with you below, where a young man manages to capture on video a strange and terrifying entity watching him and his friends during a dinner inside a house. It was through TikTok that user Salguero Huega shared a creepy video in which his group of friends can be seen enjoying a pleasant moment while tasting a delicious dinner. But everything turns dark when, with the camera on his cell phone, the author of the video manages to capture a strange, whitish being in the distance and outside the house, watching them in a disturbing way from the garden of the house in the middle of the night. So that's all there is to the story. So I guess nothing happened as a result of this, but we do have a link to the video.
Okay.
So we're going to watch this and we're going to see what you think. This might be a bit spooky, so try not to scream. Should we have audio for this?
Yeah, can do.
Yeah, why not? Okay.
Oh, it's just creepy audio. Is it that?
Yeah.
Is it just a white woman?
Well, we don't know what it is. Let's watch it again.
It looks like a woman in a white dress.
Just enjoying the meal. We're outside the door. It looks like someone maybe hunched over, maybe with shoulder-length black hair.
Yeah.
Possibly. I think it may be a case of it's like a stone, like a little statue or something.
Like,
and something behind it kind of makes it look like it's a bit more of like a person hunched over.
yeah, like that video of that guy thinking he was like, I don't have a cat, and it was his shoes.
Oh,
down
yeah.
the hallway.
Yeah, possibly.
Yeah,
That would
yeah.
That would be the obvious, simple explanation.
Yeah. Or just some random woman that's rocked up.
Also possible.
She didn't look see-through or anything.
No, it didn't look see-through. If you're sat there having a meal with your mates and there's this random woman crouched outside just watching you, whether that's a ghost or not, that's pretty spooky.
Maybe she's also doing like a TikTok trend.
Maybe.
And we'll see the other POV at some point.
That's the other option, is that it could be someone that they set up. So someone will go stand outside there.
That they
looks
set
creepy.
up, yeah.
But, there's no other backstory or anything or any result of what happened here. It's just a video someone posted on TikTok. But it was one of the, often you look at them and like, okay, well, that's dumb. This one...
I think it's still just creepy anyway. No matter, like, even if it's just a person, that's really creepy.
It was one of the better ones.
Yeah.
So I was sort of thinking, what if, that could be a bit of something. Thought I'd get your opinion on it.
I think it's just some random woman that's rocked up wanting tea.
Is that your
That's
is that
my
what you think?
professional
Your
opinion.
professional
Sam.
opinion. Finalised if it's a randomer.
I think it is just a randomer.
Fair enough.
They didn't seem otherworldly enough for me to think
Yeah.
it was something supernatural. I think it. I mean, that's scary in itself, right?
Yeah.
Just some random woman being there. Just
That might be more
watching
scary.
That's, yeah.
Yeah. Well, that was a nice quick opener to this. Let's move on to the next story. The source for this story is Daily Star.
Okay.
So, I didn't put a headline for this one, so it's going to be a surprise.
Ooh.
Okay. Paranormal expert Brian Sterling-Vete, Sterling-Vete, I'm going with, believes that ghosts have a limited lifespan, just like humans, meaning that most ghosts lurking around nowadays are less than 100 years old.
Okay.
Mm-hmm. Paranormal investigators believe ghosts are dying out. I mean, it says paranormal. I don't think you can say that about. I don't think you can put everyone on the same brush of thinking that.
Yeah.
This guy thinks that.
Yeah.
Let's see what else he has to say. A study of 100 well-known haunted spots with reports of sightings going back hundreds of years found a dearth of recent sightings. The ghosts that did interact with experts tended to tell them that they had been around 100 years or less. Brian Sterling-Vete, PhD, heads up the world's first paranormal rescue service with bases in the UK and US. His in-depth Project Half-Life report is based on more than a decade of paranormal analysis. He said, when all the data was considered, it was quite a shock to think that many of our once famous ghosts could be literally dying. It was apparent that famous ghosts in once notably haunted locations were being seen increasingly less frequently, and some had not been seen in many years. In simple terms, the second law of thermodynamics tells us that energy tends to disperse and degrade over time. I would argue that our findings show ghosts do conform to the second law of thermodynamics, as they appear to run out of energy. One ghost who is apparently yet to die their second death is the ghost of former Prime Minister Sir Winston Churchill. Apparently, the wartime PM is haunting the women's loos of the historic Queen Mary, according to a ghoul hunter.
Okay.
Singer and ghost expert Brocade claims she saw the cigar-loving statesman stalking the hallways and lurking about the ladies' labs of the ship, now docked in California. Quote, I was making my way down the long, narrow corridor towards the restrooms. With each step, the air felt thinner, and I was overcome by an intense sensation of fear. I opened the bathroom door, and it was filled with a thick mist. I felt like someone was following me, as when the door slammed behind me, it slammed twice, like someone followed me in. She added, then I saw the full apparition of a heavy-set man with a cigar. He looked exactly like Winston Churchill. I darted out the bathroom door like a flash of lightning. It was the quickest bathroom visit I've ever made.
Wow.
Now, that last bit about Winston Churchill's unrelated to the whole idea of ghosts having a second death.
A second death, yeah.
But I thought it was funny, so I added it in there.
Right.
So what do you think about this idea that ghosts don't last forever? And if this, I don't actually know what the second law of thermodynamics is. We could ask Alexa.
Do you want to ask Alexa?
Alexa, what is the second law of thermodynamics?
The second law of thermodynamics states that in a natural thermodynamic process, the sum of the entropies of the interacting thermodynamic systems increases. Equivalently, machines that spontaneously convert thermal energy into mechanical work are impossible.
I don't think that's what he said. No. That doesn't sound... Because he said it's essentially that energy degrades and disperses over time. But that's not what Alexa...
I don't know if the microphone's picked up what she said.
I don't know where this guy got his PhD, but I'm wondering if... oh, yeah, we should... How would you describe what Alexa said?
I don't know. She said a lot of words.
Either way, it doesn't sound right.
No. I don't know about that. To be fair, I mean, ghosts might just get bored, you know.
Maybe.
And get people pestering them all the time. It's like, it was funny at first, it was cute at first, and now I'm bored. Can you leave me alone? Just want to live their quiet lives.
It's interesting.
Can they go to different locations?
He says that ghosts don't seem to die out after a while, so they're all around 100 years old or less. But it's also very notable that no one ever finds a recent ghost. Do you know what I mean? The ghosts are always from Victorian times or, you know what I mean?
Yeah.
They're always olden times. So if that's the case, then that means that the 100 years doesn't make any sense then, right?
Right.
Do you know what I mean?
Yeah.
Yeah. So I'm thinking maybe he's wrong.
How are people aging ghosts anyway? How are they determining how old ghosts
Well,
are?
obviously you can't
How do you know who these ghosts are?
you can't
You
do any
can't identify a ghost.
you can't do any thorough examination of a ghost.
Yeah.
So it's as he says, like, so obviously he's gone through a series of notable cases and seen how names that come up. People establish, oh, this ghost under this name is here. We think it might be this person or whatever.
Yeah.
And then over the years, I noticed that less and less of those ghosts are reoccurring.
Yeah.
You know what I mean? So, I see, and then I guess extrapolating from that they're dying off. I don't know that there's anything else to his theory. I mean, I think he added the thermodynamics thing in to give it an air of legitimacy,
Right.
but that didn't work because it seems like he's wrong about what the second law of thermodynamics is.
Yeah.
Although I'm saying that I don't know what it is, but Alexa did say it, and it didn't sound the same to me.
Yeah.
If
Who
anyone
knows?
else knows different,
Yeah. Please let us know.
let us know.
We clearly
Tell
don't
us
know.
if he's wrong. What? What are you finding?
The laptop.
Yeah, but it's not off.
What
The
if it's
screen's just
haunted?
gone dark.
What if he's haunted,
It's fine.
Sam?
Anyway, have you got any other thoughts on that before we move on?
Not really, no. I don't know about that whole second death thing.
Yeah. I mean, it would help.
Is it just this one guy's studies?
It would-
Quotations.
It would help clear up some things. Yeah, I believe it's just the one guy.
Maybe they just
well,
don't
it
like him.
says here he's got what was it? He had some kind of company. Oh, his Project Half-Life report.
Project Half-Life report.
It claims it's in depth,
Okay.
but I don't know how in depth. Brian Sterling-Vete, PhD. I mean, maybe there's more to it if you were to read the actual thing, but
Yeah.
based on the way the story is written out, I'm not sure that he's got much going for his theory.
Yeah.
Let's just move on from there.
Okay. Wait, what was the link with the whole Winston Churchill thing?
I don't know why that was on there.
That was just.
It seemed very unrelated, but I thought it was funny, so I kept it in.
Are they trying to be like, hey, go see Winston Churchill while you can, because he will die a second death.
Maybe. Maybe.
In the women's lose.
He's only got so long to go. Right. Story 3. The source for this story is The Guardian.
The Guardian.
The headline is Tucker Carlson claims a demon attacked him and left him bleeding in bed. Do you know who Tucker Carlson is?
No.
Okay, well, it is going to give us a brief,
Synopsis.
yeah, of who Tucker
A
Carlson is.
bio.
So, Tucker Carlson, the former CNN and Fox News political chat host, has said he was physically mauled by a demon a year and a half ago in an assault that he says left him bleeding and with scars from claw marks. Carlson made the claim while speaking in an upcoming documentary, Christianities, with that inflection because it has a question mark at the end.
Okay.
In a preview clip on YouTube, Carlson is asked by John Heers of the non-profit First Things Foundation if he believed that the presence of evil is kickstarting people to wonder about the good. Quote, "That's what happened to me. I had a direct experience with it," said Carlson. Carlson, who said he still bears the scars, said his assailant was a demon. He added, "or by something unseen that left claw marks on my sides." He said at the time of the attack, he was asleep in bed. "I was totally confused. I woke up, I couldn't breathe, and I thought I was going to suffocate," he said. "I walked around outside, and then I walked in, and my wife and dog had not woken up, and they're very light sleepers. And then I had these terrible pains on my rib cage and on my shoulder. And I was just in my boxer shorts, and I went and flipped on the light in my bathroom, and I had 4 claw marks on either side underneath my arms and on my left shoulder, and they're bleeding." Carlson, who lives in the woods of Maine, did not say where the attack occurred, but called it a transformative experience that left him seized with this very intense desire to read the Bible. So what do you think about that? So he claims to have a physical manifestation of his experience,
Right.
right? As in, he has scars and they were bleeding.
Yeah.
And supposedly, if we take him at his word, his wife and his dog didn't wake up. So this was all happening entirely in his sleep, but he must have been relatively quiet.
Yeah.
Tucker Carlson is, I guess, what you would call a right-wing spokesperson. He was notable. I think he said CNN there.
Yeah.
He was like a big person in CNN, and then he
Okay.
left a few years ago, I think, and went off to do his own thing.
Right.
I don't know that much about him, but he is like a well-known figure in the US. No, we don't really know him over here.
Yeah.
But, so he's not like a nobody. Like, he's someone people know of, but he is also, I believe, like heavily religious, which obviously has influenced his opinion on this being a demon
Right.
over
Yeah.
anything else. What do you think?
You see, I'm so skeptical these days, and I was such a believer when we first met. You've made me a skeptic, Sam.
I didn't make you do
We've
anything.
role reversed because you seem like you believe.
You became more of a skeptic because we went on a ghost
Oh
hunt.
yeah, unfortunately.
You can see the video of that ghost hunt.
We went on a ghost hunt and didn't see any ghosts except for one noise that
Yeah.
could not be explained, and it made me more skeptical. But it made me more interested in it as well.
If you're interested in seeing the ghost hunt, it's on the Thackeray Medical Museum video elsewhere on the channel. Yeah, it was fun, but you kind of came to the conclusion that a lot, especially with all the different equipment, like that's pretty much all rubbish.
Yeah,
They're designed to make something happen so that you can attribute it to something, but nothing really comes through from it. We did have one noise at one point that, as far as we're aware, remains unexplained.
yeah.
But that's about it. Well, anyway, let's get back to the story.
So where were the claw marks?
On
his
his
ribs,
back,
did it
I
say?
believe.
On his back.
Back or ribs? Let me have a look. Well, he had claw marks on either side, underneath his arms, and on his left shoulder.
I bet he did it himself.
It's possible. If
Because
he's having
you've like scratched yourself sometimes, like you've been itching, and I'm like, well, them scratches on you.
right, but they're not bleeding. They're
I know, but he could have just done it more intensely if he was asleep.
I mean, I don't know. Like, if he,
I don't know.
a lot of people, it's not sleepwalking is a more extreme version, but a lot of people are more active in their sleep. They're not completely still. Like, subconsciously, they're moving about doing things. So it is possibly scratching himself. He said that his wife and his dog hadn't woken up. Was the dog in bed with him? Maybe the dog scratched him.
Maybe.
No?
Oh,
We're trying to come up with rational explanations because you don't want to. It's nice. It's more fun
To believe.
to believe it.
Yeah.
But if we want to see genuine things and to find things that are genuine, we can be like, okay, this genuinely could be something. In order to do that, you really have to be skeptical of everything, and everything you can dismiss, you want to.
Yeah.
And then just anything you can't, then you have to be open to, okay, well, what could this be?
Yeah.
But as it stands,
It could be a demon. I mean, when you were reading it, when you were describing it, it was making me think of like The Conjuring,
yeah.
and I was like, that would be really trippy. And then it'd be really annoying if someone like me was on a podcast going like, "You've just scratched yourself in your sleep, you silly goose."
Well, this is the thing. Okay, so Conjuring's a good thing to bring up because on the one hand, we're saying his religious beliefs will likely have led him to believe that this was a demon.
Yeah.
It could very well also be movies like The Conjuring have also influenced him subconsciously into thinking that this is a supernatural experience, as opposed to him automatically thinking, "Oh, what this could be something normal. Like, what normal thing could this have been?" You know what I mean?
Yeah.
And I don't know how big he is into horror movies, but whether or not you watch them, they're still around. You still know about them.
Yeah, you see trailers and stuff.
Exactly. So that could well be a big influence as well.
Maybe.
Have anything else to say before we move on from this one?
What was that at the end about?
About what?
A very intense desire to read the Bible.
Yeah.
Was that to like put him at ease?
I guess so. I guess because he thinks it's demonic, so
Demonic,
obviously
yeah.
he's like, well, whether or not he thinks it's demonic and therefore he wants to read the Bible,
Or if
he felt like he needed to read the
Yeah.
Bible and then thought that must mean this was demonic.
Yeah, like it's a sign
Like
from
which
God.
one is it?
Like,
Yeah, chicken or the egg kind of thing. Yeah,
Maybe.
maybe. Let's move on from there. This is story 4
Number 4. Cuatro.
from for the ghosts. The source is Azteca Querétaro. Was that the same one as before? It's similar, if not.
Querétaro.
There we go.
I don't know if that's
Here's
right.
the headline. You're gonna like this one. Was it La Llorona?
Oh my God, La Llorona!
Alleged ghost that disturbs 2 dogs is captured.
Oh no.
Don't worry, there's no dogs.
The
was
dogs
hurt.
are okay. Okay.
This one was also translated from Spanish, so it may sound a bit funky, but let's go with it. A video from a security camera has gone viral, capturing a figure that many claim could be La Llorona. The footage has generated various theories and reactions on social media. A video is circulating on social media showing a figure dressed in white walking in front of a heavy vehicle in the early hours of the morning. What has attracted most attention is the reaction of the 2 dogs who are visibly uneasy at the presence of the alleged woman, which has unleashed a wave of theories. Although details about the location and context of the event have not been confirmed, many users have linked the figure to La Llorona, a legendary entity known in Mexican popular culture. Theories indicate that dogs react instinctively to supernatural presences, which fuels the idea that it could be something paranormal. Okay? Any thoughts before we watch the video?
I'm very excited. I mean, I know like the dog thing. I've told you about. I don't know if I've said it on this channel before, but like my dad had an experience where he was walking the dogs, 2 of the dogs, and he heard someone whisper saying like behind you, like right over his shoulder. And before he reacted, both dogs stopped, turned around and started barking at something behind my dad.
Right.
And my dad turned around, there was nothing there. Okay. So I'm all for, you know what? Dogs are the real paranormal investigators. They know what's up. They know.
I don't think you told me that story.
Have I not?
I don't think you told me that one, no.
And at the same time that happened, I was in school and I was in IT class and I heard someone say my name at the front of the classroom, but I was on the front row and no one else was like at the front of the classroom. I was at the front row. All my friends were like talking to each other behind me. So no one was speaking to the front of the room.
Yeah.
And the teacher wasn't there because I looked up and I went yeah.
Yeah.
And the teacher wasn't there. The teacher was at the back of the classroom.
How tired were you?
I don't know. It was my last lesson of the day. It could have been that.
I'm not saying it was this, but I have definitely had experiences in the past where I've not had much sleep, so I've been very tired. And I've had what I then would assume is like auditory hallucinations, where I hear what I think is my name or something being said, and I look and react like it was definitely there, and there's nothing. No one said anything, you know?
What about times where someone else, multiple different people have heard you say someone's name? That happened to me at work a few weeks ago. Yeah. Where 2 of my colleagues turned around and looked at me, and I was like, what the fuck are you looking at? What? And they're like, well, you just said so-and-so's name. We'll call him Steve. You just said Steve's name. I didn't say Steve's name. I didn't say anything. Yeah. And I'm like, well, maybe you heard my manager speaking and thought it was me, but I didn't hear the name and I didn't say anything. And they're like, no, you definitely did. And they just wouldn't let it go. And I'm like, I definitely didn't. Yeah. Don't call me a liar. I didn't say Steve.
I don't know.
But what I was with my dad, that he had that happen at the exact same time I heard someone at the front of the classroom say my name, because I looked at the clock and was like, is there something I'm missing? Should I be doing something at this time? Like, what was that? And then my dad said he had that. He said he had that experience at the same time. It might not have been, but
you don't know that it was the exact same time.
But we have to take what my dad says with a pinch of salt. If you listen to this, Dad, I love you very much. But you also are on a lot of heavy medication, and you are a sleepy goose. You've fallen asleep standing up before, so we could discredit you quite easily. But I believe him. I believe he believes.
He's not lying.
Happened. Yeah,
that's the important. He's not lying to you. Whether or not it's an accurate recollection of the events is another thing, but he's definitely not lying to you. Yeah. Well, let's watch this video now.
Okay, I'm ready.
See what this is all about.
Is it a TikTok, did you say?
No, it's on X.
Oh, X.
X.
Twitter.
Right, let me just see if I can get this full screen so that it's easier to see. There we go. You want to? I'll start from the beginning.
Yeah, start from the beginning. Where are we looking?
I mean, it'll make it evident to you, but you can hear the dogs.
Oh, yeah.
Yeah, it's the dogs. And we'll see a figure soon.
Oh, there.
There you go, you're seeing it.
Oh.
They're all howling
They're
away.
proper howling out there. They're not just freaked out. They're like, oh, God.
That was a weird noise from a dog.
That was awful to hear.
They do make weird noises, though.
Yeah, but those are like extreme panic noises from a dog. Not two dogs.
So there you go.
I believe it.
That's the video.
Here I am saying I'm a skeptic, but
And
I
now you believe that. Yeah.
It's the dog aspect. If it
Yeah.
was, I would say it's like the other one, like with the dinner party. I'd be like, that's just some woman.
But because there's a dog
I mean,
reacting
because
to it.
you see videos of like on the internet and like the only in New York stuff where there's just like, I mean, you get it in like Leeds as well.
Yeah.
You just get weirdos doing weird stuff
Yeah.
for no reason. So it's like, it could be that, but it's the way that the dogs reacted that I'm like, there's something supernatural there. Because dogs, I'm telling you, they're on another level. They get it.
The dogs are, I think the same is also, they say with children as well. And I think it does lend a level of credibility to it because they're not in on the joke. They're not in on the prank. If it is a prank, they're just reacting entirely instinctively.
Yeah.
But at the same time, we have to bear in mind, this is what they consider their home. They're
being
territory.
very protective.
It doesn't have to be a ghost. Anyone that walks past.
Yeah, they're like,
gonna-
get off my grounds.
I mean, we had Bailey here when we recorded the first episode.
That's true, yeah.
Someone shut a car door outside and he'd start growling. You know what I mean? It doesn't matter. It's something the smallest thing and they will. But having said that, those dogs were having a bit more of an extreme reaction. So I don't know. And it was a creepy looking video.
Yeah.
If you, by the way, if you listen to this and you're wondering about all these videos and images, because it's obviously audio only, I will put the links to these down in the description. So if you want to see any of this, it'll be there for you to watch. And there'll be timestamps as well, so you can find it all nice and easy.
Very nice.
So
yeah, that one. I'm surprised I haven't come across that on like TikTok or anything. I guess I'm not on that side of TikTok.
Maybe not. If you start liking some of them kind of videos, you might get some.
I don't want it to be all that though. I've actually curated it to be like memes and book recommendations. I don't want to mess with that. Like I messed up yours and it was all dog videos and
tell you
nothing
what,
else.
we can have a TikTok for spooky channel
And just get like spooky.
and just like spooky things, and then that'll be all that.
Yeah, because I remember the other day when, I don't want to get off topic, but I would like to look more into that whole mimics thing.
Right. Yeah.
That one really freaked me out with that video with that woman where she's talking to her husband and there was like she could hear her husband speaking upstairs like at the same time that her husband sat in front of her was speaking. And it was like saying like that's not me or something like that.
Yeah.
And that gave me chills. But then they did that whole thing at the end where something fell.
Yeah.
Or like something was thrown across the room and I'm like, oh, it's a
step too
goof.
far.
Yeah. I would have really believed it. Or I've not believed it, but it really unsettled me. And I would have been like, that's good, like, unsettling content. I don't know if it's set up or not. I'm not sure.
Yeah.
Except for that bit at the end. I was like, it's just a bit too ridiculous.
Well, I mean, if any stories about mimics come up, then I'm sure we'll talk about them in the future.
Yeah.
Anyway.
Okay.
That's it for ghosts now. I hope
my
you're satisfied
ghosts.
with the ghost subject.
On to
UFOs. So this is probably going to be our biggest thing. So we'll try not to drag it out too much, but there is quite a lot to say.
Okay.
Okay, so we're starting with the big one. The source of this story is The Guardian. The headline is, Startling Claims Made at UFO Hearing in Congress.
Oh, yeah.
Okay, here we go.
Okay.
Ex-Defense Department official said government employees had been injured and US conducted secret UFO retrievals. The hearing on unidentified anomalous phenomena, UAP, which has become the more accepted term for UFO, also heard that the government had a huge amount of secret information on UAPs, including photos, videos, and other information. The hearing came more than a year after the Pentagon was accused of running a secret UFO retrieval program by the whistleblower David Grush, though no physical evidence has also ever emerged to back up these claims. A statement from a Pentagon spokesperson said the department has not found any verifiable evidence that any UAP observation represented extraterrestrial activity, nor has the department discovered any verifiable information to substantiate claims that any programs regarding the possession or reverse engineering of extraterrestrial materials have existed in the past or exist currently. It followed a blockbuster congressional hearing last year in which Grush, a former American intelligence official, claimed that the US government conducted a multi-decade program which collected and attempted to reverse engineer crashed UAPs as members of Congress investigate allegations the government is hiding knowledge of alien craft and beings from lawmakers. 2 hearings reveal the remarkable extent to which discussions around UAPs, previously mostly the domain of conspiracy theorists and believers in aliens, have now penetrated the US military and the corridors of Congress. A standout moment came when Nancy Mace, the chair of the hearing, questioned Luis Elizondo, a former Department of Defense official, who this year claimed in a memoir that the US was in possession of advanced technology made off-world by non-human intelligence. Quote, has the government conducted secret UAP crash retrieval programs, yes or no? Mace asked. Elizondo, who was speaking under oath, said yes. Were they designed to identify and reverse engineer alien craft, yes or no? Mace said. Elizondo said yes. Mace continued, in your book, you mentioned the government employees who've been injured by UAPs, placed on leave, and receiving government compensation for their injuries. Is that correct? Elizondo said it was correct. The hearing heard from Michael Schellenberger, a journalist and founder of the news site Public, who has reported that the Pentagon has a secret UFO retrieval program called Immaculate Constellation, which we spoke about last time. Schellenberger claimed that current or former government officials had told him that the program had maybe thousands of pieces of evidence showing UAPs. What the American people need to know is that the US military and intelligence community are sitting on a huge amount of visual and other information, still photos, videos, photos, and other sensor information, and they have for a very long time, Schellenberger said. And it's not those fuzzy photos and videos that we've been given. There's very clear, high-resolution files. Representative Nancy Mace noted, if we're spending money on something that doesn't exist, why are we spending the money? And if it does exist, why are we hiding it from the public? Okay? That's the bulk of the story, but I've got more information to go through here before we talk about it. So, just to be clear who the speakers were, there was Dr. Tim Gallaudet, who was a Rear Admiral, US Navy, retired, I think that means. Also a Chief Executive Officer of Ocean STL Consulting, LLC. There was Luis Elizondo, who's an author and former Department of Defense official. Michael Gold, former NASA Associate Administrator of Space Policy and Partnerships, a member of NASA UAP Independent Study Team, which I believe was, I think NASA started talking about last year, year before, something like that, where they were coming up with a team to talk about how they would study UAP. Not that they are doing, but they were figuring out if we were to study UAP, how would we go about doing it?
Right.
Okay. Kind of implying that maybe they would study it at some point. If given the funding for it. And also we had Michael Schellenberger, who's the founder of Public, the news site. Okay. So the general public discourse for the hearing was that it was disappointing because there wasn't a lot of new information. There was a lot of stuff we've already heard before from a lot of the same people we've already heard from before. But it was also important that it kept the conversation going, because it's very easy for this conversation to die down without us talking about it, because for so long it's been relegated to conspiracy theory and side things that general people aren't listening unless we really ramp it up and actually keep talking about it. So there were some notable moments as well as what was quoted in the article. Specifically near the start, Representative Nancy Mace said, "Come at me, bro." And I've got a little video
Oh my God, yes.
of this, so
Come at me, bro.
we'll watch this. This might be entertaining. Hold on. Just a moment. Let me get it to the start. She's talking about Immaculate Constellation when she says this, I believe.
Yeah.
Is this going to play audio?
Mr. Moskowitz, and I would now, committee staff asked me to go ahead and I will do it, to enter into the congressional record this 12-page document that Michael Schellenberger brought today that describes the Immaculate Constellation government program. So we will do that now. Every member up here has a copy of it. The first section talks about the unacknowledged special access program called Immaculate Constellation, and the second section about USG imagery intelligence. And Representative Luna just told me if I say Immaculate Constellation, I'll be on some list.
Are you threatening me?
Maybe a FISA warrant, so come at me, bro.
There you go.
I love it.
That's that.
I love it. Come at me, bro.
Not important for the story, but an entertaining moment.
Oh, she's awesome.
Notable, I have written this later in this document, but I'll bring it up now because she said it. She talked about Immaculate Constellation, how that gets you on a list, and she also attributed that to Michael Schellenberger bringing it, which has been a bit of a controversy because he did not enter that into public, into Congress.
Right.
He did break the story, which is where the confusion probably was. It was actually, what's his name? I've written it down here. Hold on. Because I've got it written down. So it's here somewhere.
Oh, I got a lot written down there.
I've written a lot of stuff down. Oh, it must have been earlier than that. I can't. These names just disappeared from my head, which is why I have to look for it. He's. I did write it somewhere. What's his name? He did a documentary, and he does a lot of work with George Knapp. Jeremy Corbell. That's his name.
Okay.
Yeah, you know what I mean. Yeah, anyway, yeah, he's the one who actually brought the document and entered it
Right.
to Congress. It wasn't Michael Schellenberger, but there was some confusion there. But that was a bit of a controversy when she said that, and everyone's like, "Oh, but he didn't do it because he was Corbell." And
Yeah.
anyway, but just so we're clear, so
Right.
the right people get credit. It was Jeremy
Okay.
Corbell because apparently Jeremy and George had the Immaculate Constellation information before Michael Schellenberger broke it, but they didn't put it out there.
Right.
They kept it private to protect sources. Whoever gave it to them said, "I don't want you making this public."
Right.
But then when Michael Schellenberger went public with it, they were like, "Well, I suppose it's all right for us to say we have it now."
Yeah.
So that's that. Okay. Also notable was Representative Moskowitz, who was one of the members of Congress. Is it House, Senate, Congress, whatever? I don't know how American politics works, but one of the other people that non-whistleblower, was talked about how the representatives were told not to ask witnesses certain questions on certain topics, and it was suggested that they not have the hearings anyway.
Right.
So someone behind the scenes was trying to stop this happening or trying to stop them asking certain things.
Yeah.
Which is interesting. Lou Elizondo was also asked, has there been any communication with non-human life form? And he responded with, from a non-verbal perspective, yes. So, I mean, obviously, as we would often say, like, these are ultimately just words people are saying.
Yeah.
But if we're to assume he's not lying to us, that's
Yeah.
It's not just they're finding things and saying, "Oh, we think this might be non-human."
Yeah.
He's saying even if it's non-verbal, that they have communicated with non-human life forms.
Yeah.
In like intelligent life.
Yeah.
Which is a pretty mad thing to say. To be
Yeah,
honest with you.
definitely.
Okay, and I've got a bunch more written here. Oh, here's why I wrote it. Misattributed to Schellenberger, actually entered by Jeremy Corbell. So what I did is I went through the actual document, the Immaculate Constellation document that was entered, because it's now public, so we could all see it. It was far too long to just read out.
Yeah.
So I went through it and took highlights, or I tried to condense it essentially, so we got all the important information without having to go through everything. If you want to read it all, you can find it on Twitter or elsewhere probably as well. Like, it's pretty easy to find if you're looking for it.
Yeah.
But let me just go through this so we all kind of have a baseline of what's going on. Okay. So, multi-year internal investigation into UAP technologies of unknown origin, aka TUO, and non-human intelligence, NHI, taken in response to urgent and credible threats to the public good and safety of the USA. Data in report originated from non-public data held within the executive branch of the United States government, information obtained lawfully by a member of the Department of Defense, public version reviewed and approved by Department of State Bureau of Global Public Affairs. So this is a public version that has been reviewed and approved, so it's probably missing the most juicy stuff.
Right.
But it is still there, and we didn't know about it before it was, as they say, unacknowledged.
Yeah.
Results of the investigation are deeply disturbing. Elements of the US executive branch have conspired to prevent the legislative branch from exercising lawful powers of governance with respect to UAP, TUO, and NHI. Unambiguous evidence demonstrating reality of UAP, NHI, and TUO has been made available to Congress by multiple independent UAP whistleblowers. Immaculate Constellation is an unacknowledged special access program, USAP, established following the public discourse of ATIP and ORSAP programs by Luis Elizondo in 2017. ATIP is Advanced Aerospace Threat Identification Program, and ORSAP is Advanced Aerospace Weapons Systems Applications Program.
Right.
They're long, hard to pronounce, but these are essentially previous UFO programs that the US government has had.
Okay.
There's a lot more information out there on them.
Yeah.
And if they come up in another news story, we'll talk more in depth on them, but otherwise it's very easy to find these information out about them. But it's essentially more programs of the US government studying UFOs.
Yeah.
They keep cycling. So they find out about them and they just make a new one under a different name and keep looking at
Yeah.
Seems to be how it goes. So, the primary mission is collecting imagery intelligence on UAP, ARV/RV, which is Alien Reproduction Vehicle, part of a network of USAP on NHI and UAP technologies, acting as a nexus for collecting, analyzing, and disseminating intelligence. Intelligence collected mostly consists of high-quality imagery and collateral measurements/signatures of UAP and ARV within Earth's atmosphere. So collateral is in, they're not looking for it, but they're finding it by accident.
Yeah.
Both military and civilian data collected. Evidence shows that UAP are operating around the globe, often in proximity to sensitive foreign assets and locations. Immaculate Constellation enforces compartmentalization by detecting, quarantining, and transferring imagery collection incidents before they are circulated within the military intelligence enterprise. Databases for gathered intelligence are only accessible to people with appropriate security clearances and mission need, and are scattered across the various organizations and services, leading to fragmented ownership structure. So they're finding all these things, and by design, before it's gone through the usual chain of command and people to analyze it, it's spread out all over the place so that no one knows where everything is. And even if someone finds one piece, it's a sole piece of evidence that doesn't mean anything without the connection of all of it.
Right.
And very few people have access to all this stuff.
Okay.
So the compartmentalization means that it's much easier to hide.
Yeah.
Is basically the way it goes. But it seems like from when this is saying that Immaculate Constellation is the hub for it. This is kind of where it all has to go through.
Yeah.
So I guess certain people can still have an overview of everything that's going on with this topic. Sensors including infrared and full motion video have captured UAP characteristics that are difficult or impossible to observe with the human eye. A verifiable chain of custody for UAP imagery intelligence collected by US military assets ensures a high level of confidence in the accuracy and integrity of the data gathered. The document then goes on to mention 9 specific cases studied by the program. None of them have incredible standout features that we're like, oh, we have to talk about this one because this thing happened. But they're all interesting by themselves. So if you want to read more about those cases, those 9 cases that I mentioned, you should go look up this document that we're reading about because it is quite interesting. USG, which is United States government, maintains that the intelligence gathered is raw, because it has not been evaluated, corroborated, or contextualized into a finished analytical product by intelligence community. It then goes on to give UAP shapes given and information by reviewing 400 reports from personnel from the years 1991 to 2022.
Right.
So there's been going on for a long time. And they said, I think someone David Grusher said, is that the earliest information he found when he was looking up a UFO case was from Italy. And this was in, I want to say, the 50s.
Oh, okay.
And obviously, notably, there's lots of reasons to believe this has been going on for long before then even. As well. But in terms of more modern, the government actively getting involved, crash retrieval kind of thing.
Yeah.
That's the earliest back that they've been able to find. So there's lots of stuff going on. There's much more information in the report, many first-hand accounts, aggregation of shapes, sizes, and behaviour. Too much to mention here suggests readers, again, look up themselves. That's what I wrote. I didn't mean to read that specifically out loud, but that's, short answer. I'm not just reading exactly what it is. But basically, there's a lot of information about UAPs and how they're seeing them, different shapes, different experiences, different encounters, all the different information they've got on them. I don't think there's many conclusions in this document, but it's all there for you to read. So the last little bit here now is, there was a previous hearing as well. This wasn't the only hearing this month. The other hearing didn't get as much
traction.
Like in the news or anything. It also wasn't that interesting. It was with the ARROW, which is the All Domain Anomaly Resolution Office. Another one where they're searching, analysing UFOs. They've got a new director, Dr. I think he's Dr. John Koslowski, who replaced Sean Kirkpatrick, who was the previous head of ARROW.
Right.
People weren't happy with Sean Kirkpatrick. They started off people like, optimistic to see how this goes and what have you. But then he kept coming out and basically saying, this is all prosaic. There's no evidence that it's aliens or anything like that. There was also like he would point out things that they deemed to have resolved and said, this is what happened here. But there remained a lot of unresolved ones.
Yeah.
He says, but there's no evidence to suggest that it's anything more than basic, obvious, like plain stuff. So then a lot of people said maybe he was placed there specifically for disinformation. To say, no, it's all fine, nothing to see here kind of thing.
Yeah.
And some people were kind of just upset that he wasn't being like, this is a bit weird, you know what I mean?
Yeah.
It's a bit one way or the other. And some people were like, genuinely like, well, maybe he's right, nothing did have anything more to it than just something prosaic. Either way, he left, and now John Koslowski is replacing him, and there's a slight level of renewed optimism that he might look a bit deeper and say, I think this could be something. We don't really know. He's only just started. This other hearing largely was, again, disappointing. Nothing much new being said. More promises of accuracy and transparency, but it's just kind of...
Yeah.
There wasn't much new information, but there was 2 hearings that happened this month, which is quite big, really, considering...
Yeah, definitely.
Considering what the topic is. So, with all that said, that was quite a lot of information to take in. Do you have any thoughts about Immaculate Constellation or the hearings?
I mean, I think it's cool that it's happening. I just want to see pictures.
Yeah.
I just want to see pictures of aliens and UFOs and stuff. I want to see actual pictures from the government. Show us them.
This is the frustrating thing because we keep reading this and it's like, we've got all this information. We've got all these things.
Show it to us!
And it's not blurry. It's like high quality.
Yeah. It's like, quit yapping about it and fucking show us.
We want to see it.
Yeah. Because it's like, I get really excited about it, and my dad talks about it a lot when there's all stuff in that. But it's like we're just playing a waiting game. It's like, when are we gonna be let in?
Things come out occasionally.
Yeah.
But they're always a bit rubbish.
Yeah.
It's like, come on.
Just give us something.
Yeah. But I mean, there's only so much you can do. I mean, on the one hand, it does sort of understand
Yeah.
Even if you were to say this isn't some foreign adversary, like this is genuinely aliens, other things in the videos and images could well be sensitive information that you don't want foreign adversaries knowing about. And if you release it to the public,
Yeah.
then anyone knows about it. You
Yeah.
can't only release it to your country and no one outside can see it.
Exactly.
Anyone can see
Yeah.
it. Once it's on the internet,
Yeah.
that's it. And these things tend to be happening, considering it's the military picking these things up. It's all happening on military bases
Yeah.
where they have things they don't want people seeing.
Yeah.
Right? And also considering the idea that these things, as we understand it, have incredible technical capabilities. They can move at speeds and do things that we struggle to do.
Yeah.
You would imagine only the highest level sensor data,
Yeah.
or the highest quality equipment, or people in these spaces where they're doing these extreme things
Yeah.
are able to, the ones going to be able to see them.
Yeah.
And therefore, it's all the top of the line, cutting edge technology
Yeah.
that they maybe don't want everyone to know they have.
Yeah, that's true.
So I can kind of understand why things might not come out.
Yeah.
It doesn't mean it's not
But
frustrating.
yeah, exactly.
Yeah.
We get why. Just
Yeah.
come on. Just
So
show us I won't tell anyone. Show me. Go on.
hopefully we're not on a list now for, for talking about immaculate
If we are,
conception.
we're on it twice.
We're on it twice now, yeah. But yeah, any other thoughts? Big hearings, but not much big new news. But that document being entered into Congress is quite a big deal.
That is a big deal.
Yeah.
Very cool.
Pretty cool. You ready to move on?
Let's go.
All right then. Story 2. Source for this is Sky News. This is very recent. This has been happening in the last few days.
Oh, okay.
Well, there's two things. The news was only about one of the things, but there's another thing happening at the same time, which the way I've been seeing it on social media is almost like it's connected, but I'm not sure. But let's see. So headline is, what's going on with drones spotted over air bases in the UK?
Oh yeah,
Have you
I've
seen
heard
it?
about
Yeah.
this.
So here's the actual story. Over the last few weeks, a number of drones have mysteriously been spotted over 4 air bases used by the US Air Force in the UK. The unmanned aerial devices were first spotted on 20th of November over and in the vicinity of RAF Lakenheath and RAF Mildenhall in Suffolk, RAF Feltwell and RAF Feltwell in Norfolk and RAF Fairford in Gloucestershire. The unusual activity has prompted an investigation by the UK's Ministry of Defence Police. The drones were first spotted in the vicinity of the 3 airbases last Wednesday. Similar movements occurred again on Friday the 22nd of November and during nighttime hours on Monday this week. A spokesperson for the USAF in Europe said the number of aerial vehicles fluctuated and varied between the bases. When asked by Sky News security and defence editor Deborah Haynes, the spokesperson said there had been no impact to residents or infrastructure and that they have not been identified as hostile. Haynes added that it remains unclear how many drones are involved, who is operating them, and why they're doing it, but it seems sufficiently serious for the UK to deploy military personnel. Lakenheath is home to the 48th Fighter Wing, which the USAF describes as a foundation of its combat capability in Europe. Mildenhall hosts the 100th Air Refuelling Wing, and Feltwell is a hub for housing, schools, and other services. Fairford is home to the 501st Combat Support Wing headquarters and the 420th Air Base Squadron. What has the UK and US said? The MOD said it is supporting the USAF response to the sightings, adding that it takes threats seriously. Pentagon spokesperson Major General Patrick Ryder said on Tuesday it was too soon to draw conclusions about whether the drones were sent by hobbyists. He admitted small drones are fairly common. However, one security source told Sky News that the drone activity was awfully coordinated. Another said it was odd and very weird. A US official speaking on condition of anonymity agreed that it did not appear that the drones were the work of hobbyists, adding that the US military will continue to investigate. Okay?
Yeah.
All right.
Yeah.
Oh, it's fine, don't worry about it. So, that all, like, nothing in that story suggests that it's UFO related.
Were they small drones, did it say?
Yeah.
Okay.
But it said here, it said that small drones are fairly common.
Fairly common,
It didn't specifically say, I mean, all drones are fairly small.
Yeah.
But, like, there's a lot of them, so I would imagine, they're probably fairly small.
Okay, because we've been talking about it at work, because I work with someone who has a big interest in drones, much like my dad. But they were saying that they were big ones.
There may be some big ones. I don't think this article specifically said. I hadn't heard anything about any of them being notably big, but maybe I've not seen that. So, like I said, this article doesn't say much about them being UFO related or anything. But what happened at the same time is what makes me kind of put it in this zone.
Yeah.
So, in Manchester Airport,
Okay.
there was an orb.
An orb?
An orb.
As in, like, an orb. What do you mean, an orb?
Some kind of spherical object. There's an image of it.
Okay.
Let me bring this image
It's not
up.
a dust particle, is it?
It's not a dust particle.
Okay.
That's the orb.
Oh my God, that is an orb.
Exactly.
Isn't that?
So apparently...
That's a really zoomed in picture,
This
isn't
is
it?
quite
on, like
zoomed
on
in,
an
yeah.
iPhone.
So apparently this thing... There's other pictures and a video from the cockpit of one of the planes. Apparently this thing appeared, went down here, and then when they approached it, it flew off again. I don't know what that thing is.
And you said there's other pictures of it?
Yeah, they just kind of show the same thing, but less
Right.
zoomed in. This was just the most interesting picture.
Okay.
But like, so
That's
this was happening at the same
freaky,
time, and
man.
what I was seeing on Twitter was someone talking about this, giving some more information about this, and then saying it's odd between this and then these drones happening at the same time.
Yeah.
Like maybe they're not connected,
But
but
maybe
it's
they
equally
are.
blindly connected. And I was like, maybe they are, because it's weird that this is happening at the same time.
Yeah.
You know,
And where was that, Manchester Airport?
that's Manchester Airport where that happened.
Oh, that's freaky deaky, that.
It's a bit weird, yeah. So I don't really. This is kind of ongoing. We really don't know what's going on with this.
Yeah.
As often happens with these things, it might be that nothing goes on with it, and it
Yeah,
just kind of-
probably.
but that is, yeah,
Yeah.
interesting. And I think
I'm just trying to
unsure.
remember. I think it was on an episode of... Oh my God, what's the podcast called?
Which
The
one?
Plug Another podcast. The Chilluminati podcast.
Oh yeah, yeah.
With an orb, that like orb thing that they took, that family got.
Oh, I know what you mean.
And it
yeah,
was
yeah.
really weird.
Yeah.
That's why orbs freak me out now. Like, this spherical object. I'm like, no, I don't know what to do with that. Because that story was really weird and really unsettling.
It's kind of a weird shape. Really.
Yeah.
To be flying, because it's not aerodynamic at all, is it?
Yeah.
It's like really the opposite. So
Yeah,
like,
for it to set off again and
yeah. So, like,
it
what-
just flew away. It's that's what I don't get. No, I'm not buying that bit.
And I
I
think
need more information on what happened with it.
when we talk about like reliable witnesses,
Yeah.
I think pilots are generally considered one of them. They're like trained observers.
Yeah.
They're in the sky all the time. They have to know what to look out for, what different things could be there in
Yeah.
the sky. And this obviously they weren't expecting.
Yeah.
You know? So I don't know what it is, but it's an ongoing story.
That's freaky.
Worth keeping an eye on.
Yeah, definitely.
Could be something. Let's hope
Could be something.
it turns out to be something, nothing dangerous, but something interesting.
Yeah.
Something that happens so visibly and publicly that the government can't sweep it under the
Yeah.
carpet, that they have to mention it.
Have to be like, oh yeah, by the way.
That's what we're hoping for, but we'll see how that goes. Okay. Should we go on to the next story?
Okay. Got a lot on UFOs today. haven't
I know UFOs is a big topic at the moment. Story 3, sources phys.org. Headline, extraterrestrial life could be thriving near Uranus.
we? Hey up. Hey up now. Simmer down, sunshine.
Now, I've not actually put the whole story in here. I just brought it because it was a funny headline, really. But it's sort of interesting. So, there's in the 1980s, Voyager, the space probe they sent out, that's now in interstellar space, took an image of one of the moons of Uranus, and they've been looking at it, and they've been speculating that they're based on the image that there actually could be potentially liquid water ocean underneath a frozen surface,
Yeah, I think I saw this.
very similar to Europa,
Yeah.
which is one of Jupiter's moons.
Yeah.
And we have strong reason to believe that means it could harbour life.
Yeah.
There's no direct evidence of there being life, but it's interesting. So
Yeah.
Maybe they'll send something there to have a look at that. That'd be cool. But yeah, that's all there really was. I just thought it was a funny headline, but it is also sort of interesting that's the thing. Let's just move quickly on.
Okay.
Story 4. Also, source is phys.org. The headline for this is A Formula for Life. New model calculates chances of intelligent beings in our universe and beyond. So this is quite quite scientific.
Okay.
We'll go through it. Have a quick natter about it, but it would be quite hard to go in depth on this because of what it's talking about. But it's interesting, so let's go through it.
Oops.
The chances of intelligent life emerging in our universe, and in any hypothetical ones beyond it, can be estimated by a new theoretical model which has echoes of the famous Drake equation. This was the formula that American astronomer Dr. Frank Drake came up with in the 1960s to calculate the number of detectable extraterrestrial civilizations in our Milky Way galaxy. More than 60 years on, astrophysicists led by Durham University have produced a different model which instead focuses on the conditions created by the acceleration of the universe's expansion and the amount of stars formed. It is thought this expansion is being driven by a mysterious force called dark energy that makes up more than 2/3 of the universe. The new research does not attempt to calculate the absolute number of observers, i.e. intelligent life, in the universe, but instead considers the relative probability of a randomly chosen observer inhabiting a universe with particular properties. It concludes that a typical observer would expect to experience a substantially larger density of dark energy than is seen in our own universe, suggesting the ingredients it possesses make it a rare and unusual case in the multiverse. The model predicts this fraction will be approximately 27% in a universe that is most efficient at forming stars, compared to 23% in our own universe. This means we don't live in the hypothetical universe with the highest odds for forming intelligent life. Or in other words, the value of dark energy density we observe in our universe is not the one that would maximize the chances of life according to the model.
Wow.
So it kind of puts a dampener on the idea that we are probably a bit less likely to see other intelligent life in here.
Yeah.
And a different universe with a different, more, I think it's like I say, it's kind of hard to pass through this because of the language. I think the idea is something with a different universe with more dark energy that either means the universe will be expanding a more rapid pace or a slower pace. I'm not totally sure. Either way, that would be more likely to have intelligent life.
Yeah.
And we're a bit less likely because we don't have as much, I think. That's what it's saying.
Yeah.
Obviously, that doesn't mean it can't because we're here.
We're here.
But it's interesting now though with a different way of looking at it.
Yeah.
It's not looking at how many cases of intelligent life there could be, but what are the chances that one intelligent life would be observing this happening, I guess. It's difficult. It's weird.
Yeah.
You know what I mean? It's very hard to pass through these scientific lingo, the jargon. But do you have any thoughts on that?
That sounds cool, though.
Yeah?
It's very cool.
I mean, I hope there are other intelligent life out there.
Yeah.
But even if there aren't here, that would imply there's every chance that there's more likely to be some in a different universe, like a parallel universe.
Yeah.
The problem is, how do you contact a parallel universe? I don't know. But that's everything we have. If you don't have anything else to say on that, that's everything we have for UFOs.
Oh, that's it for UFOs.
That's it for UFOs. We finally got through UFOs.
Wow, that was a lot for UFOs.
And that was It's
it's been a big week, big month for it, hasn't it?
It was quite a big month for it last month as well.
Yeah.
So let's move on to cryptozoology.
Okay.
A bit light. There's not a lot for this, but there's a couple of little stories we can have.
Go on.
Source for this first one is Lad Bible.
Oh God. How many adverts did you have to click
You said this last time.
I know, but have you ever been on Lad Bible? You do it on your laptop, it's not as bad. But you open that thing on a mobile and you cannot read the article for all of the pop-up ads.
It's not as bad Bible.
It's Ad Bible, not Lad Bible.
Headline: Couple hiking in notorious Bigfoot area notice eerie detail in one of their photos.
Ooh.
A couple who went out for a hike in an area of the USA known for its alleged Bigfoot sightings were left creeped out after noticing a tiny detail in one of their photos. There is no concrete scientific evidence to prove that Bigfoot exists. However, this doesn't stop people from pointing to a grainy photo of a tall, muscular creature with reddish-brown hair as evidence of its existence.
Mm-hmm.
The latest entry into the Bigfoot canon comes from hiker Duffy Springfield, who was enjoying a day outdoors in Panther, West Virginia, with her boyfriend back in March. When the student had her photos on a film camera developed, she noticed a tiny detail which would leave her with chills. Talking to Reddit, the Purdue University student shared the snaps alongside the title, "Got film developed from hiking in the mountains, is this the hand?" In the caption, she pointed out the hand on one side of the pillar, adding that the other side featured only a drop off to the woods below, as well as the ranger confirming she and her boyfriend were the only ones there for the week. When it comes to tales of creepy encounters, West Virginia has no shortage of weird and wonderful folklore, particularly as the state lies entirely in the Appalachian Mountains, which are known to be a hotbed of conspiracy theories. So here, we're going to have a look at the image of this hand.
I'm ready.
So that's the image as it is. Do you see the hand yet? Do you see it?
The red thing circled?
Yeah, the red thing is circling it.
Yeah, barely.
You see the fingers?
I ain't seeing no fingers.
You know, like one finger there, two there, and then another pinky there.
Oh, maybe.
Yeah?
Maybe.
So I guess the idea we're supposed to think is that Bigfoot's behind this pillar.
He's hiding behind that
Maybe.
pillar.
But apparently this is just a drop-off behind here. So this kind of rock, I guess, will be where it ends.
Right.
This rock that goes
But
into
look
the
at
red
the
circle.
shadow. There's nothing there.
There's no shadow there, yeah. You would think you'd see a bit of a Bigfoot shadow
yeah,
over
it'd
here.
come out a bit, right?
Maybe. I don't know. But that's the image. Bigfoot. Confirmed.
Yes, confirmed.
Confirmed.
100%.
Nice.
We've figured it out, guys. They weren't sure. They posted the photo, but we have confirmed
We have
Bigfoot.
confirmed it. Independently confirmed. Did we talk about Bigfoot last time? Do you believe in Bigfoot? We talked about Loch Ness and Nessie.
No, we did talk about
Did we talk
Bigfoot
about
last
Bigfoot
time,
too?
right?
Yeah.
I'm pretty sure we did.
Any other thoughts on
I
Bigfoot?
can't remember if I said I believed him or not, but
You might not be consistent
well,
now.
no, that last one, I'm pretty sure we looked at a photo and I was like, "That's
Oh,
just
it was a
someone in
video.
costume."
I remember because it said it was
Video.
dubious
Yeah.
video of Bigfoot.
Yeah,
Yeah.
I want to
Was this-
believe in Bigfoot,
is
and
this
I
what-
want people to leave him alone.
Is this one any less dubious?
I can't remember the video, but I'm gonna
Probably
say
not.
no.
No.
This is more believable.
Fair enough. Okay, let's move on to the next one.
Okay.
Source for this one is Daily Star. The headline is ex-CIA and FBI agent reveals time U.S. government investigated Bigfoot and tested fur.
Okay. Was it an episode of Futurama
No.
that they did that?
No, this is real life.
No, there was an episode, right? And
Well,
they
I don't know.
tested the fur.
I don't recall.
Was it that? Was it Futurama? I don't know.
An ex-US military high-up has weighed in on the controversial Bigfoot theory, leaving the internet stunned at her revelation. Tracy Chandler Walder, 45, from Texas, previously worked as a special agent at the FBI's Los Angeles field office and a staff operations officer at the CIA's Counterterrorism Center. Now she goes by at The Unexpected Spy on social media, regularly posting across her channels while talking to her fans about subjects like the US military, Elon Musk, Vladimir Putin, and most recently, Bigfoot. According to Tracy, in the 1970s, the FBI once tested some fur a hunter claimed came from Bigfoot, despite it being deer fur, so it wasn't Bigfoot. She admitted the government's enthusiasm to have it tested was revealing.
Cute.
I want to talk about the FBI and their involvement in this, she said. I think people may not know that back in the 70s, the FBI actually tested fur that a hunter provided. That hunter believed it was from Sasquatch or Bigfoot. They legitimately tested it and ran it through their forensic labs, and it came back as being a species of deer. But it's interesting that the FBI actually took it on. It kind of played into the conspiracy theories and legitimacy surrounding it. The hunter believed it was from Sasquatch. Oh, I pasted that twice. Never mind. Yeah. So basically the idea, and again, it is somewhat more lending to credence to it that it's not that it's real. It's not that Bigfoot is necessarily real, but why did the FBI be like, oh yeah, let us have a look at that? Surely they'd have been like, that's not real. So why were they so keen to have this fur and to test it?
Because they believe in Bigfoot.
Maybe they do. Maybe they know something we don't know.
I don't think they know anything.
Okay.
I just think they believe.
They want to believe.
They want to believe. No, I'm kidding. I don't know. But this whole story, all I can... It's definitely an episode of Futurama.
It might be.
There's like fur or something. Or Simpsons. I don't know.
So I think... yeah, I don't know. It's... I mean, what if I were to put like a rational head on and say that they've done this for a reason, that I'm thinking that they were looking for something. So, okay, let me phrase it this way, because I think this is similarly happened in America as well. In the UK, there's been in the past, not so much recently, but there's been a whole thing about what are known as ABCs, or alien big cats, which isn't like, when it says alien, they're not literally alien. They're not extraterrestrial.
It's like unknown.
They're just alien because they're not supposed to be here.
Right.
They're not native to the UK.
Yeah.
Basically, the idea is that in like I think it was the 70s, which lines up with this because this happened in the 70s, that some laws came in basically saying that traveling circuses and stuff couldn't have big cats.
Right.
And instead of trying to transport them places or euthanize them, they just let them free.
Right.
So this was circuses and like private owners that were allowed to have them. And I think a similar thing may have happened in the US where they basically were like, you're not allowed to have them. But instead of doing something properly about it, they just let them go.
Right.
So what I'm thinking, my rational hat for this story, is that they took it in because it was around that time where that happened, and then they were hoping to find out whether or not someone came with some fur that was unexplained. They're like, oh, this could be one of the big cats. Let's test it, and if there is, we know to go to that area and find it.
Yeah. That makes sense.
I could be wrong, but that's how I rationalise it.
That's what I was thinking. I didn't know about the whole big cat thing, but like that's what I were thinking, that they might be like, let's test it in case of XYZ. Like there could be something dangerous that shouldn't be there. Not something bizarre. Bizarre.
Yeah. That's all we have for this month's episode of Spooky News. I hope you've enjoyed.
You say that's all we have. We've had a lot.
Yeah, that's all. Not much.
Not much in the cryptozoology department, but we've had a lot of the others, mainly UFOs. But I like the ghost stuff as well. Yeah, some good that La Llorona video was good. Oh my god, that was so good. It was the dogs freaking out. It really got me, man.
Yeah, I mean, actually, I'll put that in the
description.
description, so you can find that video for yourselves. Definitely watch it and tell us what you think. It's been good. It's been good. I think it's been a good episode. I'm hoping when I listen back to this that the sound is good and there's no buzz there.
Yeah.
I don't think there will be. I think the problem was it was maybe a bit too close to the laptop.
Yeah.
And it was giving us some feedback or something.
Now. Hopefully.
Yeah.
I feel like I engaged a bit more in this one. Had a bit more to say.
Yeah.
But whenever we got onto the UFO thing, unless I'm looking at something, I'm like, I've not got much to say on UFOs.
Yeah, it's hard to say.
It's very wordy.
I suppose if you're already deep in the topic and you know about all the context, it's easier to then link it to things. Whereas if you don't know, you're like, what does that mean?
How is that relevant to me? Yeah, like my dad gets so excited when he finds out like a little tidbit of information that he'll be like, oh, but remember this, and I'm like, no. I'll entertain it, I'll humour him, but I'm like, I have no idea what you're talking about. But I like it. I've been having fun doing this. I feel like this was a good episode.
Yeah. And the more we do, the more you'll have those contexts and you'll be able to link things. So it'll continue to improve, I think.
Yeah.
So that's good. So thanks for watching / listening.
Yeah.
And not really watching because it's a still image, but
thanks for looking at that still image that I designed.
I hope you enjoy that still image. Like, comment, subscribe. Yeah. Please, pretty please.
Check out some of our other videos on the channel.
Yeah, have a look at the other videos. We'll be uploading more. We'll have another episode of this in about a month's time.
Yeah.
And hopefully a video in between then. We'll see how it goes. But yeah, thanks for listening.
Cool.
Bye.
Bye.